Well, hello, YouTube family and friends. Boy, do I just love you guys. Thank you so much to my new subscribers and all my subscribers. I just enjoy and love each and every one of you. I can't wait to go live. You know it's coming soon, guys. It won't be long and we'll be able to sit here and talk to each other. I would just love that. I'm telling you right now. I thank you all so much. I mean, I can't believe this channel. I can't believe the outpouring of love I got and I get every day. And hey, air hug back to every one of you. So we're going to listen to Donald Wells. He's going to tell about a scream I guess someone that lived near him heard the night that Summer Wells, or should I say day, that Summer Wells was taken. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah.
My
That's what I
neighbors
heard.
heard some
Yeah, radar say
screams.
too.
Yeah, she was up there outside, just across from us, and she heard some really weird screams before they heard us screaming for Summer, and that still haunts her. She's
Hmm.
still haunted by all that, and I think she might have been fighting somebody.
Hmm.
You know what I notice is, I mean, Donald Wells, now you know he is very shook up. He's been on a roller coaster none of us want to be on. And it has no upside. It seems like it started at the top and it just keeps going down. So I'm sure he's super upset. But I notice, even though he's super upset, his details, he comes up with a lot of details. Details, uh, I don't know how to explain it. Like, she must have been fighting someone. That's kind of a little detail. Where did that come from? I don't know. I mean, he comes up with a lot of details sometimes, guys. I don't know if he's remembering them from the past or where he's going with this. I know he has a lot of them though. These little details are always interjected into what he's telling. So let's hear a little more here.
Someone had asked in the chat
If what?
the scream that the neighbor heard, if she knew if it was a child or an
Oh,
adult.
she said it was a really weird scream. Like it still haunts her. I can't imagine, but I'd say from what I understand, like maybe her mouth was covered and she probably couldn't breathe, and she probably was able to get out a scream.
Again, here we go with the details. He's coming up with details from a scream. Like her mouth was covered. She probably could only come out with a one scream because she was fighting someone. A lot of details here, guys. She was fighting someone, her mouth was covered, and maybe she got a scream out. Okay, it's a lot of details. Even when he's just doing a simple story, I wouldn't want to go with story. Let's go with his narrative. When he comes out with it, he comes out with these little details, and they're really reminiscent to me of Candace's details. Like we were planting flowers and then more. We washed our hands. Grandma handed her a piece of candy. I walked her to the house. Look at all these details. A lot of details. So anyway, let's let him go a little bit because I'll probably over talk him the whole time.
Or something like that, in
Hmm.
terror kind of scream.
So,
And
I don't know
so,
what to do.
yeah, that's horrible.
And another thing I can tell you right now is we lived in the mountains. We lived in Squaw Valley, which is your nearest neighbor is probably, I don't know, 10 miles from you. I mean, it's way up there. And at night, I did hear a lot of screams. I mean, it came alive at night. You would think on the mountain it would be so quiet and peaceful at night. No, it's not. Because for one, we had these huge oak and eucalyptus trees out in our front yard, and the screech owls just invaded these things and they just scream. I mean, it's blood curdling. Pull the covers up over your head. Remember whatever prayers you said as a kid and state them as fact because you're scared to death type scream. Yeah, they're spooky. And we also had a big a rainstorm, and one of those huge trees fell down. And it was really weird because we went out in the morning and I said, there's something white at the bottom of that tree. And these are huge, huge owls, you know. So we walked out there and there must have been 100 little tiny skulls and skeletons. Evidently, these trees were hollow in the center, and the owls had been hunting at night because, of course, that's what they do. And they had gotten, I think, every squirrel from the mountain and did it in and stuffed it in that tree. And when that tree fell over, it was so weird. I wish I had pictures because I had taken pictures. But anyway, here I go rambling. Back to my story. At night in those mountains, it was not quiet. You hear these screech owls, you hear these wolves. I mean, you're hearing a lot of things going on. I'm not saying that's what they heard that night, or even if they heard anything that night. I don't know. But I'm just telling you from my take, it was very noisy. So, could be, you know, Al, it could have been her. I'm seeing him with a lot of details. I don't know, you know.
She can scream loud. I mean, that little girl can scream.
Mm.
I've just been, you know.
Earlier you mentioned that someone heard screams. Would you know where
Yes.
the screams were heard in relation to the house from the neighbor? Like what direction?
Well, we live on a hill, so you go down our driveway to Ben Hill Road. When down on the bottom down there, her driveway's right across from our driveway, and it goes straight up the hill. I mean, if you can see the tree outline from the moon, if you look straight down to the tree outline, her house is just below that tree line. I don't know if you can see it,
No, it's too
but
dark.
just below the moon is that tree line. Well, her house is up below them trees right there. But so she was
So
up there, and she heard these screams. Her and her daughter heard these screams.
So it makes sense that
But
Summer was somewhere between your.
Okay, now we've got a second person hearing these screams. And this is the first time I've heard of this. It looks like this would have came out early on in the beginning of this investigation. Don't you think? I mean, we're just hearing about people hearing the screams now. You know, I'm not getting why this hasn't come out before. And there was more than one person that supposedly heard them, you know.
house and her house at that point.
Yeah, down on Ben Hill Road, yes.
They're wondering, was the screams you heard, was it a child, an adult, multiple people?
If what?
The scream that the neighbor heard, if she knew if it was a child or an
Oh,
adult.
she said it was a really weird scream. Like, it still haunts her. I can't imagine, but I'd
See, this part right here, a really weird scream. I'm wondering if she's meaning other than the normal stuff that they hear at night. I know they hear animals at night. They've got to. I've lived in the mountains, and boy, I mean, it comes alive. So I'm wondering if when he's saying this, is this woman that said she heard the screams hearing something real unfamiliar with her, like she never heard before? Like it could not have been an animal. It could not have been anything that she's heard before. You know, I don't know.
say, from what I understand, like maybe her mouth was covered, and she probably couldn't breathe, and she probably was able to get out a scream or something like that in terror, kind of scream.
Here we go with more details. Her mouth was covered. Now it's muffled. Now she can't get air. Now she's able to just let out a scream. And then evidently he's saying the abductors muffled her, or I don't know. gagged her in some way where she couldn't make any more noise. I think that's what he's trying to say.
So,
And
I don't
so,
know.
yeah, that's horrible.
Mm.
And she can scream loud. I mean, that little girl can scream.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not
Well,
not just new.
she tried to tell law enforcement that, but I don't think law enforcement took it serious at all. But it's haunted that poor lady ever since. I was talking to her one day and she just started crying. I mean, real emotional about it.
Okay, you guys. I think that's going to be it for me. I need to go over this a little bit. I'm not really understanding why this is coming forward now. And the second part I'm not understanding is why would law enforcement just glaze over it like it never happened? It seemed like it would be a key point to me. Don't you? I think that would be a key point. Someone heard screaming right before they started yelling for her. Sounds like a key point, but it sounds, coming from him, like law enforcement either didn't believe it or just glazed over it. I'm not sure if I can see that happening. Law enforcement usually takes every little detail into consideration, and this seems like a pretty big detail to me. So, what do you guys think? Is Dawn just getting clear enough to remember these details? Is Dawn coming up with these details to fit some kind of narrative? I don't know. Do you believe the scream ever happened? Do you think it could have been an animal? I'm going with it could have been an animal because, boy, they are just really loud up there in the mountains at night. So, I don't know about this one. You guys comment below and let me know what you think. I think you watch a lot more of Dawn than I do. I try to get the pertinent details out, but to me, he's kind of hard for me to figure out. I really can't figure Dawn out, other than it looks like he's on the descending slide downward from the emotional roller coaster. Okay, I think that's pretty much going to sum that up. So, you guys, comment below. Tell me what you think. Does this sound like a believable story? Would there be a reason for him to come up with it now that I don't understand? How about all these details? Is he getting clearer and he's coming up with details? I don't know, guys. Comment below and let me know. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.